Hey, welcome to the Social 333 podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bentley. Today, my guest is Katie Smetherman Holmes.
Yes,
Did I get it right?
you did. You
Awesome.
got it right.
Awesome. Katie, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Hi, my name is Katie Smetherman Holmes. As Chris had mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of Brand Studio Creative, where I help entrepreneurs and business owners develop branding and websites built with heart, purpose, and strategy.
You also have this book out, which is your second book, right?
Yes, that is my second publication.
So, Limitless Leadership with empowering women to unleash their potential and rewrite the rules for success. So, you do a lot with female entrepreneurs as well?
I do a lot with female entrepreneurs. I have worked with both male and female business owners, but primarily these days, a lot of just female entrepreneurs have been coming to me, and it's been a joy to work with them.
Nice. Talk a little bit about your journey. We have a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners that are in our audience. Like, talk about a little bit about like how you got into this space, like how you got rolling into this company as well.
Yeah. So I always had kind of like a little seed planted in me, I would say, of wanting to own my own design agency eventually. I had worked at a few design agencies around the Houston area shortly after graduating college, and it just rekindled that spark. I just was like super excited to be working on various different businesses and learning about their industries and everything. And so I knew that I wanted to not only excel in my design capabilities and my graphic design background, but I wanted to be able to provide strategies and effective brand strategies towards my clients. So I went to Milan, Italy. I got my master's in brand management and communication so that I could provide a holistic approach for all of my clients that would in future come to me. And so after graduating with honors from the program, I came back to the States, born and bred in Texas. So I came back to the States and started Brand Studio Creative shortly afterwards. Took a little bit of a hiatus for personal reasons, but started Brand Studio shortly after and have been steamrolling it ever since and enjoying every minute of it.
Nice. So, talk to me about the emotionally intelligent brands, like people that looking for their voice, different stuff. Like, talk to me a little bit about that because I'm pretty interested in hearing about somebody that wants to like get their voice out, somebody that's obviously a brand. How do you kind of work with people to get that going?
hmm So a lot of what I implement into so many of my brands that I work with is building with heart, purpose, and strategy. Those are my kind of three core values that I instill into each business, no matter how big or how small they may be. You cannot take the heart out of humans or out of your business, since businesses are, funded and started by humans. Like, we want to be able to really tap into the empathy and the emotional intelligence with all of our clients. And so how we do that is we go back to the very foundation for every single person that comes into Brand Studio Creative's environment. They start with effective brand strategies for that mission statement, your core values, your purpose, making sure that all of those key pieces are laid out, written out in a guidelines, and then we begin the visual steps towards building their empire.
I've done a lot of branding. I've done a lot of marketing. We just had a guy that was on the show that does a lot of YouTube videos, and it's really interesting that some of the trends that are out there and just some of the branding that's out there. I sell real estate, and it's all about branding, right? Like, anytime you see my face shopping on a shopping cart, you're like, I want to buy a house with that guy, right?
Right.
That's kind of some of the branding that's out there. Don't recommend that. But what is kind of the stuff that you're seeing that is a branding trend that you'd love to like just get rid of or like replace it with something better?
The trend right now is definitely, unfortunately, going to be AI. Um, it is AI has just kind of taken on a quick and easy fix for a lot of entrepreneurs or businesses. And yes, it can be a more cost effective way for a lot of people, just because when you are starting a business or you're stepping into entrepreneurship, there's always going to be a little bit of a financial hurdle that you kind of have to go through. And if you don't have those financial resources, sometimes it can be a challenge. And I completely understand that. But when it comes to developing a business that's going to resonate with your clients, that's going to actually reach and target your clients, you really need to tap into another expert in branding, because they can not only read between the lines of who you're trying to reach, but also they can provide that human touch, that human element that is really going to resonate with all of your customers. And unfortunately, right now, it's very easy to see when something has been generated or made by AI. It's all kind of recycled and reused throughout the internet space. So there's a ton of not only other personal resources, but I know a ton of other designers in my field that we are much happier to work within your budget and work within your timeline or guidelines or whatever restrictions that you might have, so that you don't necessarily just fall into the trap of using AI and then your business might not succeed or see, the financial revenue that you're really hoping for when you start out in that kind of way.
We were just talking earlier about AI and these faceless YouTube videos and these channels, and I'm kind of thinking about getting on to doing it because I'm a big YouTube guy. But like the captain on a boat, the older guy on the boat, I hate to say old man, but elderly person,
Yeah.
right? Like the old guy, I'll just say it, old guy on the boat, right?
Yeah.
And he was like talking about like the sea was rough that day and the fish were like whatever, all AI. And like the other day, or I was talking about earlier, they had this AI of a pan like getting heated up and then them putting onions on it, and the onions were frying. Crazy stuff, right? Like stuff that like you and me would just, or we would just shoot a camera video of us cooking and then be
Right.
like, cool, like that's our camera shot.
Absolutely.
Now it's complete AI.
hmm
And I've seen some wild stuff about it.
Yeah, some of the innovations are amazing, and I'm not saying that AI should be completely nixed from all applications of life. Like there are definitely certain instances where AI is very useful. Me personally, I love to take handwritten notes in my client meetings, just because I catch something, I read between the lines of whatever they are saying or providing information to me, and so I take personal notes. But having an AI transcribe just the whole meeting as a whole has been a huge benefit, because no matter what, I know that I can go back. So certain areas and certain tools are definitely helpful, beneficial, efficient in ways. But when it comes to trying to imitate humans, that's where it's like people want to connect with people. That's like the bottom line of it.
I honestly haven't really started using AI until last month, and I would just I think I saw it somewhere else where I never log in, but like I would just ask personal questions, and then like it would spit out stuff, and I'd be like, oh, this is really cool. And then I started thinking about it like more and more. I was like, like I really don't really need a therapist. I really don't need this. I really don't need that. I could just sit here and literally just type in questions and read. Because it's like, for me, and I'm only trapping in like maybe like that much of AI, but for me, it's just instead of me spending hours scrolling through Google to try to find an answer to the question that I put into Google, it kind of just spits it out for me based off of a accumulation of what they found on the internet, which is really cool. What I thought you were going to say about branding was going to be something a little bit different that we touched on in the last interview, was that people just go on to different social media platforms and they know nothing about the platform, know nothing about what's successful, study nothing, and just start posting, and then they quit and then they try something different, and then they quit, and then they start something different, and it's literally like kind of like this,
Mm-hmm.
their marketing strategy.
Oh, strategy. I have a social media manager because I could not figure it out, and I knew from the get-go that I was like, this is not my area of expertise, but I knew the value, and I knew that there was strategy that went into it, and I was like, I have to hire somebody who really knows it, because just like you said, each platform, and there's a million platforms out there nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
each platform has its own type of algorithm and its own type of reach that it does, and how it skims your content and how it funnels it to, the generic targeted audiences that it thinks that it's going to, attract. It's insane. It's a whole beast of its own that absolutely it is a strategy that should be more taught for those starting out.
Yeah, I agree. Is there like an opportunity right now? I was kind of thinking in my head,
Hmm.
like, is there an opportunity right now? Somebody wanted to go out and brand themselves
Hmm.
something. Um, is there something, and I don't want to get into like the secret sauce or nothing like that, but like, is there something or an opportunity out there right now that like a lot of people just don't know about, or a lot of people like kind of skim over that
Hmm.
they don't do?
A lot of it is laying that foundation. So most of the time when I talk with people, one, they don't understand the terminology. They think that when they start a brand, it's just a logo. And there's so much more. I love to use a Tupperware analogy. Imagine your entire Tupperware cabinet, neatly organized, mind you, not just like thrown together, but all of these Tupperwares fit inside of larger Tupperwares, and all of those are housed within your entire brand strategy. And so a logo is just one of the Tupperware pieces. Your color palette, your typography, again, that's just another couple Tupperware pieces that are within your entire cabinet. But the foundation that you really need to focus and start on is get back down to writing, write out what your mission for your business is going to be, who you like, really think about your target audience, because that is going to help dictate and help lay the groundwork for a lot of your strategies as well. Like, get down to the nitty-gritty of like, I only work with women who are ages 30 to 35 and in this region, whatever it may be, but like, really think about your target audience, and then write out your brand's purpose statement. It should be just a single sentence statement, and then your core values, and that helps lay the groundwork for any type of visuals, for any type of content, for any type of tone or languaging that you're going to do for your brand and your marketing. Really getting back down to like writing down some of those basics instead of just starting out like, oh, I would love my brand to be pink and have a script font with my name. Like, that comes so much later than what a lot of people kind of forget.
I know for myself, when I did real estate, not the podcast, but when I was doing real estate, and I still do it, but like when I first started the company, but before that, when I was with another brokerage, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like I'm going to sell luxury homes. And at
Mhm.
the time I was selling like investor homes and wholesaler stuff.
Mhm.
And my previous broker just laughed at me. And like, cause on my business card, it was like luxury homes, wholesale, first time home buyers, and, something else. It was like investor specials or something, like, so I was trying
Mhm.
to like cover the whole gambit, and
Right.
he just laughed at me because he was selling luxury homes and that's all he sold.
Mhm.
And I was like, from that moment on, I was like, okay, well, like everything and this, I didn't have a brand strategist. I didn't have anything. I was just like, okay, well, like I'm going to label myself as a luxury home seller.
Mhm.
Even though I haven't sold one luxury home, I'm going to
Mhm.
label myself as that. And like,
Set a goal, set a
I
passion.
will grow into that role.
Mhm.
Do you see a lot of people doing kind of the same thing, or do you think it's more of, hey, today I woke up and today I'm going to sell computer parts and I'm
Mhm.
going to sell under a logo called like Chris's computer part, like wholesale, and then
Right.
like kind of be like, here we go. And like, and that's kind of like they set up a website and they're like, let's roll,
Right.
is that kind of like what you've kind of seen with a lot of like entrepreneurs, a lot of like, especially at my age and like 47, like they just They never really had anything like that, never really heard of it. They're just like, okay, well, I'm good at selling,
Mhm.
you know, turtles, and now I'm gonna make a turtle business out of selling a pet shop, and then we're
Mhm.
gonna have a cool logo, and like, here we go.
Yeah, so I think I definitely there's a lot of people, especially just people who just want to like get up and go, which that's a great mentality. That's a great mindset to have, that drive. Obviously, like if you have that drive to like get up and go towards something, whether it is in business or, maybe nonprofit route, then definitely feed that passion. But I think there's something that and I think it needs to be talked about a bit more. Went to a conference this year and I listened to an amazing designer, Jessica Hish. She was just absolutely fantastic. She's a wonderful human being. But she had such a great and impactful speech that I noticed I was already kind of just naturally doing it, but I think that more people should definitely kind of take this mentality when it comes to wanting to start their own business. Is sometimes you starting slow and going more at just like one step at a time pace is the correct pace. I know nowadays a lot of like the hustle culture is still kind of there. And again, like people are like, oh, like I have and I want to do this thing. I got a website up, I got a logo made, and they're just ready to go. And again, having that passion and that drive is fantastic, but take a step back, actually lay out all the steps or all of the like goals, the milestones that you want to reach. Yes, having an end goal of like, I want to make $1 million or I want to be able to sell luxury homes easily, then you still have to have those steps. And you can't just jump from step 1 all the way to step 100. People's legs are not that long. So
Right.
you have to take individual steps. And it's okay if that timeline doesn't necessarily match the person next to you
Right.
or even 2 people next to you. And so I think that that's something that more people definitely need to know, that it's okay to go a little bit slower. It'll happen. If you still have the purpose and drive, it's going to happen. You're going to make it happen. So don't fret about, oh, it's not happening this month. I didn't meet my quota or meet my goal this month. Okay, try again next month. You have next month. It's going to work out. So,
Talk to me a little bit about identity crisis. You have a business that comes into you, where somebody that's a business owner, and they're having identity crisis. Like, talk to me a little bit about that, because we just had somebody on here that was doing identity.
mhm,
Um, I've always known who I was, and I always know like kind of what the company is, and the people that I hire
mhm.
always fit the culture. Otherwise, I just fire them. But like,
Yes.
just like the reality is the reality. But I think a lot of people get lost in their foundation of why they started the company, or who they
Mhm.
service, or the demographic they service, or like, are they just servicing single mothers? Are they servicing the whole community? Like, who are they? Are they just servicing church leaders? Like, who is it that
Mhm.
they really are their target audience? And I think a lot of it gets um, lost in the weeds because they get big eyes. Because I get big eyes all the time, which is
Mhm.
like, I interview a lot of people that have businesses, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. Like, I have hours to spend like building
Right.
another company, and then somebody else comes in, and I'm like, oh, I could be a brand strategist, right? And it just,
Right.
before you know it, like, I have a whole lot of nothing, like,
Mhm.
right? Talk to me about like their identity. Somebody comes to you and say, hey, like, I'm in an identity crisis. Maybe I hired the wrong people. Maybe I'm got the wrong clientele. Maybe I'm
Mhm.
offering the wrong services. Like, I've gotten away from my, mom and pop business to now something that's like real big, and we've
Mhm.
lost a lot of the customer care part of it. Talk to me a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah, so I have a few really good tips and kind of insight on that. One is don't be afraid to pivot. I think that's something that business owners, especially, not necessarily like employees, but like business owners and entrepreneurs, they almost feel like whatever you start out with is like the Bible to them, and it is your only foundation that you can ever have. That is not the case. people grow and evolve. We are not trees. We are not staying in place. Like, we grow and evolve as individuals with our surroundings and our environment. And so as your business either grows or expands, like the mom and pop shop that, like, now it's not really a mom and pop shop, it's kind of really a big corporation. It's okay to pivot, and it's okay to kind of reassess and reevaluate some of your values or some of your key strategy pieces. I actually just recently wrapped up a branding refresh. I was working with one of my colleagues. We were partnering on this brand refresh for another real estate agent, and she had already been in the business for like 25 years, and she had her name and reputation, but unfortunately, it also had her ex-husband's name a part of it, and she was like, I'm ready to step into my own, and I'm ready to just be my own, but I don't know how to make that pivot, how to kind of make that change. And she, being in marketing for many years, she kind of had some of those like key pieces where she's like, I know I need to, I have my target audience that I kind of really know and still work with, but I need to kind of shift maybe some of my messaging, some of my color palettes, whatever it may be, to like reach out. And so she came to us, and we held her hand the entire step of the way, but also showed her the possibilities. And I think that's something that when you're in that, okay, I know I need to pivot stage, but I don't know how to pivot. I don't know what, like, say, like the fork in the road. I don't know what avenue is out there. I just know that a pivot needs to happen. It's okay to seek out help, first of all, but like also me and my partner, we were able to kind of like be like, okay, here's, some areas that like you can maybe tap into. If you want to hold on to, like, say, like a certain piece of your old branding, let's see how we can maybe just refresh or revitalize those color palettes so you still have that cohesiveness, but just under a new name. And so we really worked with her, and the last few rounds that we did, like, she's just been almost to tears because she's like, this is everything that I've wanted to say and more, and you guys help just bring it out just by like asking the right questions. And so that's something that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to pivot in your business. Don't ever think that it's not the right time or it's not okay. I myself do monthly check-ins just to make sure that I enjoy what I'm doing, because if ever I'm like, branding isn't it for me, designing websites is not it for me anymore, I would rather know, like, okay, like, what might be my next journey that I look into. And luckily right now, I've been in the industry for over 10 years, my business for 4 years, and I love every minute of what I do.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, if somebody were to try to get in touch with you, whether for branding or just ask you some questions, where would they find you?
They can definitely find me at my website at brandstudiocreative.com, or if they have certain, branding questions or, want a brand or website audit, I do those. You can send me an email at katie@brandstudiocreative.com.
Awesome. Katie, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. How was it? Like it?
It was good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the questions.